Ever wonder why Easter doesn't fall on the same day every year? It seems to shift around each spring, but there's actually a fascinating reason behind that. Today, we'll dive into how the date of Easter is determined, its connection to Passover, and the role of the Council of Nicaea in setting the date. Wowzer! First, let's talk about how Easter's date is calculated. Unlike Christmas, which always falls on December 25th, Easter doesn't have a fixed date. Instead, it's determined by a combination of the moon and the spring equinox. Easter always falls on the first Sunday after the first full moon that occurs on or after the spring equinox, which is around March 21st each year. Phew! Got that? So why was this crazy method of calculation chosen? Well, long ago, different Christian communities were celebrating Easter on different dates, which caused confusion. So the Roman Emperor Constantine called the first council meeting of Nicaea in 325 AD to address this issue, as well as the controversy surrounding the nature of Christ as both true God and true man. This meeting lasted over a month, but its decisions still impact us today. Do you recite the Nicene Creed at your church? Did you know this creed was drafted at the council meeting of Nicaea? It not only settled the dispute over the nature of Christ, declaring Jesus as both true God and true man, but it also gave Christians a unified statement of faith. But there was still the matter of Easter to contend with. Recognizing Jesus' resurrection being historically linked to Passover through the Last Supper, but wanting to establish a distinct and separate observation of Christ's resurrection, the council decided on a lunar calculation to determine Easter's date, and it would be based on the Paschal moon, or the Passover moon. So after some debate, they determined the celebration would be observed on the first Sunday following the Paschal moon, which is spring's first full moon. So where do we get words like Paschal and Easter? Paschal comes from the Aramaic word for Passover, connecting this full moon to the Jewish holiday. Easter is a bit trickier and controversial. The word Easter most likely originated from the Anglo-Saxon month Eostermonth, which roughly corresponds to April. The controversy comes from the fact that this month was named after a spring goddess named Eoster, who represented fertility and new life, hence bunnies and eggs. But let's be real. Most of our months are named after one god or another, and a few emperors to boot. And secular traditions have always weaved their way into Christian holidays, like Santa and the Easter Bunny, to name a few. But if you don't like Christ's resurrection associated in any way with Eostermonth or Eoster, you can always revert back to calling it the Christian Paschal Festival and leave the bunnies out of it. So to recap, Easter's date is determined by the first Sunday after the first full moon that follows the spring equinox, a method established by the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. This calculation ties Easter to the time of Passover, reflecting the biblical account of Jesus' resurrection. And while the name Easter has some debate behind it, it's ultimately a time to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus and the new life he offers. There you have it, how Easter's date is calculated and a peek into the history behind it. Thanks for watching, Scrappy Disciple, and have a blessed Easter season. As always, be sure to check out the links below for free resources, as well as information on a 40-day faith challenge and a new middle grade series, Violet Jenkins. It's full of heart and laughs.